And Top Story is always brought to you by Vodafone. After years of declaring his government will never return to the International Monetary Fund, today, President Akufo-Addo finally ate humble pie faced with a monumental economic crisis. He has directed his finance minister, Ofori Atta, to begin talks for an IMF support. Today's decision is in sharp contrast to the long-held position of both the president and his finance minister. This was the president in the early years of his administration in his first term, when Ghana was just coming out of the last IMF program under the John Mahama administration.
We are about to exit at the end of the year from our 17th IMF program since we joined the institution. The most important lesson that we must derive from our IMF experience is that we cannot afford any longer any disarray in our public finances, the reason for our demand for IMF assistance. As you can see, ladies and gentlemen of the media, a great deal of work is being done in so many areas so that we can turn our back on our recent era of failure and set our country on the path of sustainable, rapid development and growth.
His finance minister, who has served him since day one, Ofori Atta, was even more categorical, has been very consistent, speaking very recently, declaring under no condition whatsoever will he lead Ghana back to the IMF.
We are not going to the IMF. Whatever we do, we are not. The consequences are there. We are a proud nation. We have the resources. We have the capacity. Don't let anybody tell you. Like when Joshua, Caleb, and the 10 others went to spy on the promised land. And only 2 of them came to say that we can do it. And the 10 went around the community murmuring, you can't, da. We are not people of short sight, and we have to move on. Okay? So let's think of us as who we are, a proud, strong people, the shining star of Africa, and we have the capacity to do what we want to do, if only we can speak that one language and ensure that we burden share in the issues ahead.
So that is Ofori Atta. Well, today, he himself, together with the president, eating a giant humble pie. He has been directed by the president to begin conversations with the IMF for an official support. That details of which we are yet to learn, and of course government, as you may imagine, has been pretty tight-lipped since that statement was issued and signed by the information minister, Kojo Nkrumah. Well, there's been a massive reaction to this major news throughout the day. Let's start in Parliament, where this has become a subject of some heated controversy. My colleague, parliamentary correspondent Kweku Asante, joins me on the telephone line right now. Kweku, this is coming a day after the former president, John Mahama, the last president to take us to the IMF, had actually recommended same, but also stated that the current finance minister could not be in charge of any solution to the current economic crisis. And I see that in Parliament today, reactions from the minority side has been re-echoing that point.
Right. Evans, you will hear from Isaac Adongo, MP for Boahen Central, who's been making the case for an immediate dismissal of Ofori Atta. He says that Ofori Atta, given his insistence and given his posture that the country was not going to seek an IMF bailout, is not the person to lead the country to seek that support. And he wants the president to crack the whip on him immediately.
You recall the Census Consensus provided a working document through which government could negotiate on a position from a position of strength, but we knew what we wanted. These guys are going to IMF at a time they basically don't have anything, no blueprint. So chances are that we are going to have a lot of the program being designed. You recall the Census Consensus provided a working document. But I want to make the point that they have already started consulting, and we knew what we want. These guys are going Ofori Atta to engage IMF. It's equivalent to telling the IMF we don't want a program. One, Ken Ofori lacks the capacity and is not fit for this type of purpose. Ken Ofori should be fired immediately with that communique in order to give assurance and comfort to the negotiating parties that Ghana is serious at having a program. Charles Boahen should follow in tow. The Ministry of Finance at this moment in time need a complete upgrade from the people who are currently sitting there in order that we have credible leadership to engage the IMF and come up with a program. The same man who the president has directed to engage the IMF to go and say what? That we are no more a sovereign country, that we are no more a proud nation, that the people who said we should go to IMF are now not naysayers, but he's not a naysayer because he has come. So the president is playing games. He seems not to understand the doldrums from which they got the economy. I would wish that the government show clear commitment that it is ready to have an IMF program that will be to the benefit of the people of Ghana and that we are putting our best foot forward. The man they've asked to go and negotiate with IMF should not be nearer any process of negotiation. He and Charles Boahen are the reasons why we are where we are. And the president will give himself a chance at having a program that is acceptable to all stakeholders. If Ken Ofori and Charles Boahen are announced as not being ministers by mid-May.
And Kweku asked